Well, I'm delighted to be joined by Ishita Sharma, who is one of our London Chamber Orchestra Music Scholars in her second year. Welcome.
Hello.
Well, what a difference this year is, isn't it, to last year?
Yeah, it really is.
My goodness me. And of course, you are stuck in your room,
Mhm.
unable to access pianos. And I think you're looking forward to receiving a keyboard, courtesy of the university, I'm hoping this week.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm quite grateful.
Is that going to change your life?
Pretty much at the moment, yeah.
I can just imagine. Well, it means you can practice, doesn't it? It means you can practice and actually have piano lessons. Very difficult otherwise. Ishita, what are you studying at Queen Mary?
I do film studies for the year abroad.
When you say film studies, which area of film are you most interested in?
Uh, Theory side of film, so like the history and French cinema.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's a lovely, lovely thing to be interested in, and a wonderful range of films they've produced. Um, Now, film studies is not, it is a creative subject, and I can see the synergy that goes with music there. But when did music, and particularly piano playing, begin in your life?
Um, I used to play the violin a lot. I did it for a year before moving schools, and that's when I picked up the piano.
So how old were you when you took up the violin?
Uh, 8, 9.
8 or 9. Okay. And how soon did the piano come after that?
10. So,
Okay,
yeah.
right. And did you fall instantly in love with the piano?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And tell us about what you did and how you got involved in music making, perhaps in your school or outside of school.
My grandma played lots of instruments, so I was kind of exposed to music from an early age. And I went to a sort of musical primary school, so I took lessons for violin there. Then I moved schools, so that's when I started piano.
I see. And did it have a very strong tradition of music in the school?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Um, and then when you had pursued or thought about coming to university, and then with the idea of studying film, how important is music to you alongside those film studies?
Very important. And, like, it's a big part of my life. I listen to like classical music all the time. It's my favorite genre of music. I think I do music as much as I do film, pretty much.
Yes, that's often the case. I think there's many students who are involved in music at Queen Mary for whom it's almost like doing a double degree, isn't it? So you're passionate about music, and how important is music to you this year? Because obviously you're experiencing music in a different way. Has it changed? Is it more important, less important, equally important?
I think it's more important. Like, it's something to get your mind off things, and you can always go play some music and not experience what's going on in the world for a couple minutes. And yeah, it's nice.
Now, one of the advantages, of course, to being a pianist is that it's an instrument with such a rich solo repertoire. And you don't have to be involved with other people in chamber music and this, that, and the other. Obviously, at the moment, you can't. How wide is your interest in music? Does it range from the Baroque to the contemporary, or do you have a particular area that you're most fond of?
I mean, I listen to all types of piano music, like from Baroque to like 20th century, but I think my favorite is probably like romantic to like late 20th century, so like the Russian composers and like as early as Chopin. Like, oh, it's really nice. Yeah.
Well, I know your list of three pieces, which we're going to get to in a little while, and it's quite stunning selection that you've chosen, a mouth-watering selection of pianists, as particularly. Um, Now, is there any moment in music, your life, that music or something has happened, a musical activity or musical event that has sort of struck, with huge impact and stayed in your memory?
I've got two memories I can think of.
Yes.
The first one being getting the music scholarship. That was really nice.
So that meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's lovely to hear that. That's very important. And your other memory?
In 2019, I went to go see Yu Wang play Rachmaninoff Third Concerto, and it was just incredible. Like at the proms in the Royal Albert Hall, and it was just amazing.
Yes, that was a very special concert, and I know people who were actually at that concert. You were lucky, who said it was an extraordinary wonderful experience. She is a remarkable pianist. Okay, so you're doing film studies. Are you particularly interested in the theory of music in film as well?
Yeah, I mean, music plays a big role in film. Like, even before uh, like dialogue and stuff was a thing, they had music in silent films, and an orchestra would play live when they were screening films. So it's quite important. And yeah, like composers like Leonard Bernstein are quite important to music. And
Well, certainly film music has had an enormous impact, but of course, vice versa. Composers such as the ones that I know that you've chosen have had an enormous impact on film music as well. So I can see perhaps why you're going down that particular avenue and that particular choice. Um, would you like to then introduce your pieces, your three pieces? Let's start off with the very first one, which I think reminds you of that Proms concert, doesn't it?
yeah, the Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto. It's just an incredible piece. Like, especially the second movement, I feel like that's quite overlooked a lot of the times because you have like the famous opening of the first movement, and then like the final movement is quite dramatic, but the second movement is so nice. Like, and it has like a little toccata bit at the end with like Spanish influence, and it's just really, really lovely to hear. Yeah,
It's a magnificent work, and you've chosen the pianist, I think,
Yuja Wang. Yeah.
Wang. Absolutely. Well, I know it's a titanic performance, isn't it, from her? You obviously go for exciting pianists, don't you? She is a dynamic musician. And your second piece,
Beatrice Rana's Ravel Waltz. Also amazing piece. Like it's quite long. There have been interviews about it where apparently the piece is based off an Edgar Allan Poe novel,
yes.
and like it's a amazing piece. Like it's like a journey basically.
Well, it is, and I must admit that choice of pianist and that choice of recording is one that I am particularly taken with. I remember when it came out, I think it was 2019 that it came out, perhaps. Uh, and Beatrice Rana, I should say, my wife is Italian and would correct me otherwise for getting it wrong, is a stunning young pianist, isn't she? Have you been following her path?
Yeah, I think I saw her at the Van Cliburn competition a couple of years ago, and it was really good. She played the Chopin Preludes, I think. Yeah.
Indeed, she did. You really do have a very good knowledge of these fantastic pianists. Wonderful. And then your third choice, of course, is one of the greatest masters of the piano, playing one of the most important piano concertos. Do tell us about that.
It's Martha Argerich playing Prokofiev's Third Piano Concerto. Also amazing piece. I think the third concerto is like Prokofiev at like his finest. Like it's him at his best, and like this, it's just incredible. Like from the moment it begins to the moment it ends, like it's amazing.
It is a remarkable work, and it is, of course, a stunning performance that's available. Well, all of the performances she gives of Prokofiev 3 are equally memorable. Are you planning on going down the route of learning? Are you studying any Prokofiev at the moment, or Rachmaninoff?
I've played Prokofiev's Toccata before, which was quite fun to play. I do want to learn the concerto at some point. That'd be really fun. Um,
One day, perhaps we should do the second concerto.
yeah.
That is a wonderful piece, isn't it? Or maybe you want to do Prokofiev 3.
Yeah. I mean, I love them both equally. And yeah, for Rachmaninoff, I've played some of his preludes before.
Yes.
And yeah, like I'd like to play Rachmaninoff Sonata one day too, like the second sonata. It's a really nice piece.
Oh, yes. Wonderful pieces. Well, Ashita, it has been a total pleasure talking to you. And thank you so much for your choice of three Titanic pianists and three Titanic works. You really do have a very good taste in piano repertoire. Thank you so much.
Thank you.